epidemic of corruption. And it seems from your choice of words there, Chris, with all due respect, that you're kind of inclined to believe that the Republicans got a bit higher integrity than the Democrats there, and other than maybe just
not
one.
So. Actually, I think they're the left and right wing of the same dirty bird, and I'm not sure whether we've got so much infestation of what I would call rhinos, Republicans in name only, that are really left-wing extremists from the other side that have infiltrated that party. I don't think you can give any credibility to either side other than individual ones that may have earned the respect on either side.
Okay.
Well said again.
Thank you, Paul and Chris. Your choice of words there philosophically indicts the left by accusing the corrupted right-wingers of siding with the left. And in attempts to build our broad-based consensus, I would beg you to try to avoid that polarizing type of language, because there's a lot of good people on the left, I do believe, that are they'll be taking offense at that choice of words. And I don't think it's necessary to bring a philosophical indictment against the left in order to advance our larger goals here. I think for both the left and the right wing that are corrupted, they will be filtered out as our common law due process starts moving forward.
I am for law and order, for the rule of law, and I just don't believe that either side has the ability to break the law and remain in order.
Amen.
Honor.
All right. I'd like to move on to a second point of the issues that you raised here.
If I may, I think I just must respond, and I try, Charles, to keep muted because I don't want to seem as the antagonist on each of these points, but some of these phrases and talking points that are being used are seen by people such as myself as dog whistles. I personally think that there are two alphabets missing from that abbreviation of GOP, and I think those are OR. So every time I refer to the GOP, I say GOP-OR. And what does that mean? It means the Grand Old Party of Racists. So when I hear some of this dialogue, as Charles has just said, it is offensive. So I remain muted because I actually could have refuted and had something to say about 4 out of 4 of those talking points that were used. But if I did that, we would make no progress on this call. So I attempt to refrain from trying to adjust or address every phrase that I might see as offensive, whether on a religious or ethnic matter. But I do thank you, Charles, for at least bringing that to everyone's attention on this call, and I will continue to attempt to not try to, take this time, like right now, to address something that might have prevented us from moving forward throughout our agenda items. So I think everyone on this call, though, has contributed, and I think everyone is intelligent enough to, receive what I'm saying as not being confrontational or a threat, I would hope. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Louis. Is there any other comments or questions in response to Louis or Chris or Paul?
Yeah, this is Michael in Florida. I'd like to just make a statement that, there, in contrast to what you were saying, Charles, between the Democrats and the Republicans, I find it very true that Republicans, at least the people, stand for more biblical principles, namely two. They're against abortion and they're against homosexual marriage and homosexual advocacy. Those two issues are huge, and that is the defining difference between Democrats and Republicans. And we can never lose sight of that fact. That is a fundamental fact in the differences and the characteristics of those two parties. And the Democratic Party defends abhorrent biblical behavior that the Bible finds to be very bad. It's just that simple. We can't deny that fact. And they have every right to defend abhorrent behaviors that are hostile to biblical principles. But it also needs to be remembered that the principles that Republicans adhere to, at least in word, are in harmony with the Bible, such as anti-abortion and anti-homosexuality. Let's remember that fact, that glaring fact. I yield.
Thank you, Michael. I would beg to differ that those are the prioritized issues in the Bible. I think it's higher priority to care for the poor, where the Republicans are actually much more guilty of class warfare against the poor than are the Democrats. We can belabor these philosophical perspective differences.
No, I need to make a point of fact.
Sure, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah. I was not saying, in contrast to what you were saying, I was not declaring those two issues are the primary issues of the Bible. I just simply cited two issues that we are absolutely opposed to as Republicans against the Democrats. I did not say that those are the two primary issues of the Bible or of Christianity. I would not say that. I would not agree with that. But they are two huge issues to both parties. The Democrats are for them. Republicans are against them. That's all I was stating. I yield. Thank you.
All right. Well, I find it I think those issues should be decided at the local level, homosexuality and abortion. And I think it's divisive to be raising those issues in a national conference like this, brother.
I was clarifying the characteristics of the two. We seem to be going down a road of, this partisan bickering, and I just wanted to cite the fact that there are some major differences between the Democrats and the Republicans.
But those can be settled at the local level, Michael, in a county-by-county and precinct-by-precinct basis. We don't need to be micromanaging those issues here at a national level, is my humble opinion.
No, the issue was earlier with the defense of the Michigan voting at the election, and the Democratic vote counting was being defended. And I just had to make that statement a fact, that there are fundamental differences between the two groups of people, and we cannot ignore them. We can pretend to ignore them to our demise. We must.
Well, I don't think so, Michael. I think we can just put them on a back burner. I think we can put them on a back burner and let each precinct and county decide those issues for ourselves instead of get distracted by them, like is the result of what the point you're raising.
Well, we've been distracted for the last 30 minutes.
Well, that was about vote counting that you raised.